get rid of the old backdrop. And if the enemy trip, you get no slack. I was told never to listen to old whack jobs. Equipped with the scripts when I hit them with this to the blister. His lips, ammunition, unlimited in the clip. But ligament in
The No More Sleep executive pick lists are focused on players that are going within the first 5 rounds of fantasy drafts. Our goal is to give you information so that you can make informed decisions. Because in fantasy, every pick is going to be a guess. These are human beings, there's unpredictability. But the people that win their league are those who make the most educated guesses, and that's what we're going to help you do. One player that can help you win your league this year and next year, which we focus on Dynasty Fantasy Football leagues that have the keeper setting. So we're thinking about this year and next year as well. Tyler Lockett, wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, is poised to be a breakout receiver and a reliable receiver next year as well. He finished the year with 57 receptions, 965 yards receiving, 10 total touchdowns. And other things that we like about him, he runs a 4.4 and a 40. He has reliable hands. He had 80% catch rate and 0 drops. It's a very important statistic. When you have a high catch rate like that, you want to see that 0, that goose egg in a drop column. He achieved that. We also saw improvement in his yards per run route year over year. Why is that important? It's not important stat across the board all the time, but in an offense where the quarterback rely on receivers to run a good amount of yards per route, then you want to see improvement in that area. So let's talk about that now. The Seattle Seahawks run the ball quite a lot, so the ceiling for any receiver in the Seattle Seahawks system is going to be limited. However, what you want to look for is a receiver who fits the mold perfectly. Doug Baldwin is now out of the mix, so we need to define Tyler Lockett's ceiling. And the way we can do that is to look at the things that made Doug Baldwin successful and see if Tyler Lockett can do the same. If you watch the Seattle Seahawks play, it's no secret that Russell Wilson is mobile and he's accurate. He's going to run outside of the pocket about 60 to 70% of the time, and he won't take a sack. He will look down the field to see if he can find receivers. Given the fact that Russell Wilson has been in that system long enough, Pete Carroll has figured out a way, and the receivers coach have figured out ways to create routes that are meant to be able to be adjusted when Russell rolls out. So they're not going to run a simple slant or a simple go. They're going to do go and pitch. They're going to do go and hitch, or they're going to do double move routes, because that's going to give the receiver a chance to adjust, do another move while Russell Wilson is looking to buy time to throw the ball down the field. 3 stats are going to be important in a system like that, and Doug Baldwin has proven this. Doug Baldwin in the 2017 season, one of his most respectable fantasy football seasons, there were 3 areas where he excelled. Target separation. He ranked number 13 in target separation. That's how much separation does he have from the defender on every target. Very important route, okay? Very important when running routes in the Seahawks system. Yards per run route. He ranked 15 in 2017. How many yards can you run per route? And then lastly, air yards, which is a big one because Russell Wilson liked to chuck the ball down the field. So what was his air yards? It was 6.5 per target, which ranked 17. So respectively, Doug Baldwin ranked 13, 15, and 17 in the 3 categories that are going to make a receiver consistent and successful in a Seahawks system, because their quarterback can throw the ball down the field. He rolls out the pocket, and the receivers need to rely on their routes and separation from defenders. Okay, now that you got that in mind, 13, 15, and 17 were his rankings in one of his best years in fantasy. Now, let's fast forward, look at Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett ranked 12, so he did better than Doug Baldwin in target separation. He did better than Doug Baldwin in yards per run route. He ranked 13 there. Doug Baldwin ranked 15. He also did better than Doug Baldwin in air yards, where he ranked 14, where Doug Baldwin ranked 17. Now, let's take the rankings out of it and look at the pure number itself. When you look at the pure number itself, Tyler Lockett ranks higher in yards per run route by a significant margin, and he completely blew Doug Baldwin out of the water when it comes to air yards. He's slightly behind on target separation when you look at the pure number, But again, you have to look at the percentage, or you have to look at the ranking, because Doug Baldwin was facing less competition than Tyler Lockett was last year. And despite that, and despite a less accurate Russell Wilson this year versus 2017, Tyler Lockett in 2018, Tyler Lockett still achieved the numbers that he did in those three categories. So what are we saying here? We're saying that Tyler Lockett is a better fit in a Seattle Seahawks system than Doug Baldwin was. He's faster than Doug Baldwin. And on top of that, another stat that's important, Russell Wilson trusts his arm, and he should. He's very accurate, which means Russell Wilson ranks fairly high with throwing contested catches. So he will throw the ball regardless if a defender is right there on a receiver. He threw the ball to Tyler Lockett 10 times this year, 9 times last year, or something like that. It was an average of 9 to 10 times. And last year, Tyler Lockett won 80% of those contested catches. Doug Baldwin never got as high as 80% winning contested catches. So not only is he better than Doug Baldwin in the three categories that help receivers in the system: separation, yards per run route, and air yards, but he also has the contested catch ability. He's faster. This is a no-brainer to me that he's a better fit in this system. And the other thing to keep in mind is the competition. So before I do that, let me tell you a few things to be worried about. It seems that Tyler Lockett has a max amount of targets that he gets. So he had 71 targets in 2018. He had exactly 71 targets in 2017. I don't know what the deal is there, but it seemed like 71 is the most that he'll ever see. He also had a low yards after catch. 2.5 per target is extremely low, which means, Tyler Lockett gets tackled easily. But that's okay, given the fact that his yards per run route and air yards are so high. I'm okay with him getting tackled as soon as he catches the ball, because he would have picked up a ton of yards by that point. And then lastly, this is concerning. He does not get any red zone share. He only had 11% in 2018. To give some perspective, Doug Baldwin had 26% in 2017. So those are some of the cons, but here's another bright side. Look at the defenses that Tyler Lockett is facing in 2018. He's going to face 6 defenses that allowed the highest receptions and receiving yards last year. So he's facing 6 defenses that has allowed the highest receptions and receiving yards. And then he's facing 9 defenses that allowed the most receiving touchdowns. I mean, that's, barring an injury, I cannot see how Tyler Lockett doesn't succeed this year. With the, healthy Russell Wilson, a competent, hopefully, DK Metcalf. Even if Metcalf can't, do his thing, David Moore. If David Moore can just at least get a little bit of the attention from some of the defenders, then Tyler Lockett is going to have a better year this year. So there it is. We gave you a ton of information. Do with it as you please. Do the executive thing, make an informed decision. Go and win your league this year and next year. The No More Sleep Executive Pick List.
Get it, I got it. Get it, go, get it, I got it. Get it, go, get it, I got it.